Let's talk about this. So about 2 weeks ago, I talked about this travesty is the best way to describe it. And that was the sequel to Megamind 2. We got a trailer for this movie that everybody really wanted to see, everybody really wanted to happen one day. And then it came out, and within the span of like a couple seconds, 1,000 million voices cried out in terror, and then were silenced by weeping. The trailer looked bad. Everything about it looked bad, the story sounded bad, and it just bad. From this way to Sunday, it looked bad. The movie didn't come out yet, and it's not even in theaters, it's on Peacock of all places. And so everybody waited, or some people waited patiently to see just how bad is this movie gonna be. Who knows, maybe it was gonna be the best thing in the entire world. I never had that expectation, and then recently, after having a glimpse of the final product, holy gamoly, bro. Nah, fam. What are you doing? The movie is bad. I thought that the trailer was bad. I knew that this was not going to be good. I thought it couldn't get any worse than I would originally think. But by Jovi, they managed to do it. It is perhaps the most painful hour and 23 minutes of my entire life. The story, okay, let's just get down to the basics. Animation is still dog water. It is so hard to watch with your own eyes. It feels like looking at the skull of King Neptune. My eyes just start to burn, and I'm screaming, bald, but it's bad. But that's the animation. What about the story? The story is just as bad as the animation. Basically, spoiler alert, you're not gonna watch this movie, and I'd implore you not to. The story basically is Megamind, he's a good guy. He's a good guy now. His old crew comes back and he has to pretend to be bad again in order to defeat them, and, you know, stuff like that. It's just so poorly written. The story is just not good. It's just not a good story to watch. The jokes that are in there, they're dumbed down. They're watered down so insanely. One of the wonders about Megamind, the original Megamind, and I think just old cartoons in general, is they didn't treat kids like idiots. They're idiots, of course, they're children, but there were also jokes that adults got, so that kids and adults alike could enjoy it and live together in harmony. But then the Fire Nation attacked with this piece of garbage movie, and basically everything is just dumbed down. The jokes dumbed down, extremely corny. It's nothing like the comedy of the old movie. It just doesn't even feel like it's in the same story. If Megamind wasn't in there, if the blue forehead wasn't in there, I probably would have mistaken it for something else. But alas, it is unfortunately Megamind. What I also found out recently, and the reason that this entire movie has such bad animation, is because they were making room for the TV series. I mentioned it briefly last time, but they're also doing a TV series. I thought that one would happen and then like a couple months later, they'd release the TV series. But no, they released it on the same day. The same day they released the movie, they released the TV show, which shockingly is worse than the movie. It is I can't even watch it. I only got like a little bit through like the first episode and I was like, nah fam. I do not want to touch it with a 7.5 foot pole. It is abysmal. And luckily, most of the world also thinks it's abysmal. According to Rotten Tomatoes, which, you know, is the end all be all of rating and stuff, you know, they rule with an iron fist. They know what the truth is. It has a 10% on the audience score, and as of recording this, there isn't even reviews with the critics, which, you know, boo-hoo. I mean, nobody gives a crap about the critics report. I like to imagine, though, and this makes me lighten up. This is what's stopping me from drinking cleaning bleach. I like to imagine that there's no review for the critic tomato meter because the movie is so bad that Rotten Tomatoes didn't even finish the page for Megamind vs. the Doom Syndicate. That's what gets me up in the morning. The most shocking thing about this entire thing is that this isn't even done by a bad company. This is done by Dreamworks, Kung Fu Panda, Dreamworks, Shrek, Dreamworks. This is a company that's well known from west to the east to the north to the south. This is Dreamworks, the company of animations. It's up there with one of the GOATs like Pixar and the other ones. So the idea that this would even be conceived is just shocking to me. I understand that animation gets worse when it comes to TV shows. We saw that with the Kung Fu Panda TV show, And for the most part, I think most people were okay with it because they understood that when you do it in episodes, it has to be, they have to cut back on the animation because, it'd be too expensive. That's okay, and I understand that. This, I don't. Here's the real kicker. Going back to the animation, I knew that if they were gonna do a TV show, the animation would be bad. And boy howdy is it. I don't understand why the movie had to be bad though. Like, I know they're being released around the same time, but I would have thought that if you're gonna make a movie, you'd put more effort into the movie. I don't even know which one's their golden goose. I don't know what was their real, selling point. Were they trying to get everybody ready for the movie, or were they trying to get everybody ready for the TV show? I don't know. But both ended up crashing and burning in the process. I don't know how they managed to butcher my boy to such a degree. I can't even look at Megamind the same anymore. I mean, it's poison. It's poisoned by the filth that you've put into my eye holes. I just got done talking about the Willy Wonka experience, which is probably the most depressing thing I've ever seen. This is up there too. This is probably one of the worst things I've seen. That's an hour and a half of my life that I'm never gonna get back. Never. Don't watch the movie. If this is saying anything, do not watch the movie. I couldn't even tell you what the movie is about. The plot, I think I was just so caught up on the animation, to the bad story, to the bad jokes, I couldn't even give you a detailed description of what the movie was about or what the script was about. I couldn't even retain it. I think most of the time I was watching through one eye out of just sheer pain and embarrassment because oh my God, bro. It really does baffle me that something like this would manage to get through the corporate at Dreamworks. I don't know how. That's what I want. I think that's what we all need. We need names. Who did this? Who done it? And I want them fired. I want to set them adrift on an iceberg into the middle of the Pacific. If we do that, I think the healing process can start. This is worse than a war crime. Actually, that's a good idea. I need to find out what the Megamind show rating is like. If it's better, then I'm gonna scream. Oh, it's called Megamind Rules. Okay, well, how about this? It's 40%. Fewer than 50 ratings, 40%. I don't blame you. That's too high, though. I don't like that it's that high. It's concerningly high. It should not be that high. This thing should not exist. I think that we all just need to take a step back. We need to go back to old animation, old story, where we weren't afraid to just get a little bit edgy, because you know what? It adds character, it adds a kick, it makes sure that everybody has a good time. It doesn't need to be dumbed down to this level, like boiled potatoes this thing is. I'm fuming. Within the span of a month, because the trailer came out very recently, within the span of a month, they managed to turn this decade-old classic animated story and somehow managed to burn it down to a crisp, like the Library of Alexandria, gone, never to be remembered as it was ever again. Oh, wait, hold on. There's a comment on here. Maybe if we all commit mass suicide, then the people behind this are all fired. You said it, champ. You say it with your chest. I'm just surprised that this thing managed to get to where it was. I'm surprised that nobody stood up and was like, hey, maybe we shouldn't do this. Maybe we should take a step back. Maybe they killed him. I don't know. I don't know. But at the end of the day, that's Megamind now. A sloppy, childish pot of gobbledygoo. And not the good kind either. But that's it for me today. Thank you so much for watching, if indeed you still are. My name is Brockster, and I bid you all adieu. I'm gonna go drink some bleach.